although what we're talking about is really true for both ApplicantPool and iApplicants. But I'm going to demonstrate first on the ApplicantPool system how you go about doing what Julie was describing, which is go in to change the status of multiple applications at once, and then also how you can generate your applicant log and make sure that you've got a status, actually one of the global terminal dispositions for all of your applicants for, in this case, 2014. And then when we've done with ApplicantPool, then I'll jump onto the iApplicant site and show you the similar functionality of how you can go in and change the status of multiple applications at once, and also how you can generate your applicant log. All right, so let me know if you have any questions as we go, but that's what I'm going to cover, and I anticipate that we should be done before a half hour is up. Hopefully we won't go any longer than that. All right, so I've logged into my site. And so yours, if you're using ApplicantPool, and again, we'll cover iApplicants later, but if you're using ApplicantPool, you should have something similar to this. You're looking at your jobs that are not archived. So the very first thing that you're probably going to want to do is just go to your reports. And for most of you, it's going to be the bottom report. I've got employee referrals turned on my site, which is an option if that's something of interest to you. No additional cost. And so, oh, by the way, we reached our total number of attendees, so anyone else trying to get in won't be able to at this point, just FYI. All right, so applicant log is what you'll click on View next to, and so you'll put in your date range of January 1st through the end of the year. I'm just going to leave it at the default date range. What you have here as far as choosing both active and archived is fine, but you do want to include not just those who met basic qualifications, but actually both, and that should be sufficient so that you can then, if you want to look at it on screen, click on Filter. If you just want to drop it into a spreadsheet, then you can go ahead and export to CSV. I'm going to look at Filter. All right, so this is the data for my applicants, and this is your report. So it should have everything that you need. So it's got the name, it's got all of the EEO information. So race, gender, the veterans and disabled, feedback, and so hopefully I've got some yeses down here. Actually in this crowd I've got none at all. That's interesting. So you should hopefully have some yeses in there indicating that they are veteran or disabled, and it's got the job title, etc. So most of you, if not all of you, should have all of your 2014 data in the one system. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. We can run the report out of iApplicants and then just combine it with this. So I don't know if we're going to be running them again for you this year. If we do like past years, we'll run the reports and we'll combine them to where we've got all your data in there. So don't fret it if you've got just part of 2014, but most of you should have all of 2014 if you're using ApplicantPool at this point. And that's it as far as having your data. All right, but what you're looking for here, and the real gist of this call, is that you need to have a status for every single applicant. So in this one you can see I got a bunch of blanks here where I don't have statuses. And I'm going to, oh, did I close it? No, here it is. These are the 15 statuses. I've got them twice here, but so these should look familiar. And they should be in each of your sites. So you need to have one of these dispositions for every single applicant. I'll point out just one thing because it kind of comes up somewhat regularly in conversation, that you've got a status here that is not considered, and from what I understand, not considered means that you did not look at the application, really. I mean, technically, if you ask someone from the OSCCP, I think they would tell you that not considered means you did not look at their application, therefore you did not give any consideration to hiring that person. That doesn't mean that we looked at them, we didn't like them, so they weren't considered. That's not what it means. It's the more strict definition from my perspective, my understanding. I'm not an attorney, and I'm not your counsel on this, but I'm just advising, and I'm saying that it's probably not that. So if you look at someone and you don't feel like they met the minimum qualifications, then you should give them a disposition of does not meet minimum qualifications. If they did meet the minimum qualifications, but you did not hire them, then you need to choose some other one. And it could be that the one that you choose is not most qualified. Yeah, appreciate it. I got a chat message that I'll try to avoid using the acronym I used earlier so that people don't get anxious. So if it's not does not meet minimum qualifications, then it may be not most qualified. But you need to use one of these 15 dispositions for every single applicant for the year. That's technically what you need to be doing to have a complete applicant log. All right, so go back over. So let's say that you've generated your applicant log and you've got some statuses that are not completed, and you're looking for the most efficient way to get that done. I would suggest that the first thing that you want to do is make sure that all of your applicants who have been interviewed or hired are marked with a terminal disposition of either hired or other applicant better fit, something along that line. Okay, you at least want to have all of your interviewed and hired applicants. Technically, you're going to want to make sure that everyone has the proper disposition so that if a person wasn't hired and you hired someone else instead, that you have a good reason for that. So if you don't have dispositions for everybody, you can either go in job by job, so that may be the most efficient process for you in some cases. Now when I go back over, I'll show you how you can pull up both the active and the archived applicants. Same thing with the jobs. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh this. So I've got everybody in here. Okay, so you can select multiple applications and change their status. So if you've gone in and you've selected everybody, you can go back, and those that you actually do have a status for, you can turn them off. And again, I will have selected the date range that I need here. But I can update actually everybody here with the status that I want. Now this is my site, so I don't have the same dispositions that you've got, but you should have one of those 15, and you can give everybody that status. So if everybody else doesn't meet qualifications or other applicant was a better fit and you feel like that's accurate, or at least relatively accurate, to put for the rest of your applicants, then you can change all of those at once. All right. If you've given everybody a status, and let's say that you've already emailed everybody that you want to, so you could also email all of those selected applicants, say thanks but no thanks email, then you could at this point go ahead and archive all of them as well. Okay, so your option on those. Those aren't required per se. This kind of cleans up your screen. This is a nice courtesy to email all of your applicants that you do want to have a disposition for everyone for the calendar year 2014. Right. Might offer that if at this point you've got any questions regarding ApplicantPool and how you handle the dispositions, then feel free to send a chat message. Let me. So when I go to the applicant screen, and by the way, I was on the report screen. I didn't say that too clearly, I don't think. But I was down at the bottom of the standard reports is where you see your applicant log, and I also then went to all applicants so that I could view for all jobs, all applicants. I could go in and check statuses. So that is one way that you can do that. All right. Now you can also use Report Builder if you're comfortable with that. Hopefully everybody at some point got a link from me or has been using Report Builder, very similar to iApplicants. And you can go in just job by job and do something very similar to what we did on the All Applicants screen. You could look at everybody that's applied for this job and look at both qualified and disqualified applicants. So that should be about it. All right. Should we also, shoot, one sec. Should we also have a final disposition for those that are listed as did not meet basic qualifications? Yes, actually you should. If they don't meet basic qualifications, that is a terminal disposition. And we've probably talked about this. I can almost guarantee that anyone that's using ApplicantPool, we talked about this. In this system, you can actually have the system take care of that for you. So this list, these people, actually let me show you, all those people who were disqualified for this job listing. Oh, isn't that grand? Oh, I'm on the wrong job. Let me go to this one. Here we go. So if I look at everybody who did not meet basic qualifications on this job, I have the system automatically give them this disposition. All right, so you can have your applicant pool system do this for you as well, so that when you have screening questions, if you ask a question that's a yes or no question about whether they meet the minimum qualifications for that job, and they answer no, then you can have the system disqualify them and put in the disposition for you. And if the system is not doing this for you, for all of your applicants for a given job, then you need to do this yourself. If they didn't meet the basic qualifications, make sure they get this disposition. All right, any other questions then regarding kind of the overall dispositioning of applicants or use of the applicant pool system? And if not, then if at this point you wanted to, if you're using applicant log and that covers everything you need, you're welcome to drop off unless Julie has anything else she wants to add at this point. Otherwise, I'm going to on to iApplicants and show you similar functionality there. Any other questions?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, so I'm going to cover iApplicants then real quick. So similar deal, and thank you, by the way, for those of you who have joined but are leaving now. Okay, so same kind of deal. Only on this one, we go down to reports, and underneath admin reports, you're going to have a report that is the EEO AAP export, and it should be applicant status global imaging. All right, so if you run this report, I'm going to need to go back a bit in time here. And so if I pull some applicants, okay, so it's a similar deal. I'm going to have race and gender, the veterans, disabled. I've got all the information on my report, and I can, similar to iApplicants, I can export it to a spreadsheet, and then we're good to go, as long as I've got a status for all of the applicants. So disposition in this case needs to be included for every single applicant. If it's not, then we have some options to take care of that. Okay, so similar to applicant pool, you can go in job by job if you want and update those. You can also go to, and as at least one person has found out, you need to be really careful with this report. Make sure that you think twice before you hit any buttons, but you can go to the Mass Archive and Application Status Update tool, and once more, if you're confident that you've at least put a disposition in for everyone that you, and again, this is kind of the minimum. Technically, you should be, really scrutinizing every applicant, make sure they have the correct disposition. But you at least want to make sure you cover those that are hired and those that you interviewed. All right. So, and for your date range, you can select all jobs, and in this system, you can go in and select all those people that do not have a status. So for you, you would be doing calendar year 2014. I'm just going to do for the month. So I would choose everyone that does not have a status, because those are the ones where I know they need to have a disposition. And I'm going to leave all for archive, and then I'm going to click on view report. Okay, so here's everyone that over the date range that I defined. Now everyone who does not yet have a disposition and needs one. So I can do something similar to what we did in the applicant pool. I can select all, and then down at the bottom, I can choose the disposition that I actually want to have. Now actually here are your 15. So I could choose the one that I want to have, and let's assume again that we feel fairly confident that it's accurate to put in a disposition for all of these. So we could choose a status that we want them to have, and this probably won't be not considered, although it could be. So let's say not most qualified. And then if you clicked on this button, which I'm not going to get close to it, but if I did, it would change the status of all of those at once. Okay? So it's a very powerful, very quick way to do it, so we want to make sure that you're not messing anything up when you do that. So that's how you do it by job. If you, or I'm sorry, en masse. So if you want to do all of your applicants at once for the year that don't yet have a status, you can do that. You can always, of course, go in, use your screening questions report, and do 2 clicks for each applicant for a given job and change their statuses, or you can go in application by application. So you do have the ability to view all applicants for the year and see who's missing a status and change them there. And that's the basics of it. So if any questions from the iApplicants perspective, nothing really different from what it's been in past years. Julie just, in conversations with others, wanted to make sure everyone felt comfortable with it and was refreshed on how to go about the process. Anything else, though? I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.